And we're back. This is Johnny Walker for the Freak BTDM podcast, and we're back with another episode to discuss what is happening right now, and everybody's freaking out about Skrillex. But the main topic of this podcast is not gonna be Skrillex. It's gonna be Phonk. Stay tuned. Okay, so the whole EDM Twitter is just freaking out and praising Skrillex because Skrillex brought out, basically released 2 albums within a span of a week. First one's called Quest for Fire, the second one is called Don't Get Too Close, and this is really the third and fourth album of Skrillex. If you exclude his collaboration with Diplo in 2015, you can see that I'm not scripted, right? This is live. So, first album, groundbreaking, 2010, Scary Monsters. And I Sprite. Second album, Recess, 2014. Then was collaboration with Diplo, as I said. And now, very timely, I guess. But everybody dropped an album last year. I guess he realized that and he kind of held back, because last year, I must say, 2020 was a huge competition for albums. Everybody and their mother released an album. So he thought, well, why compete with these guys? Let the hype die down, and boom, February, 2 albums coming out. Quest for Fire, Don't Get Too Close. Everybody's just really praising, and Rolling Stone is covering that, and oh my god, Skrillex and everything. But is it cutting edge? Is Skrillex really the Skrillex you guys grew up with? I think not. I hope you agree with me. And, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I know the stats of the podcast. I know you guys are between 28 and 35. I mean, most of you, the majority of you, you're based in the US, mostly in the West Side. Big up California, by the way. But, you know, it's Skrillex. I know you guys grew up with him, right? You might have been 18 or 16, finishing high school back then, when Bro Step came in and it was really exciting and edgy and something different, and you could vibe with it and everything. But is today's Skrillex the same thing? This is where I'm getting at. I think not. So let's see the who's who of his first album, Quest for Fire. Let's see who he's collaborating with. So, Bobby Raps, Missy Elliott, Fred Again, Fortet, who else? Peekaboo, Noisia, Porter Robinson. That's his first album. Second album, Bobby Raps, Pink Pantheress, Kid Cudi, Justin Bieber. Need I say anything more? It got released, the second one, February 18th, so 2 days ago, and the first one was... released, February 17th. So 2 days apart. Sorry, I said a week apart. I didn't follow it because I was doing something else, but I'll come to this a little bit later. And I've listened to snippets myself. I'm not excited, man. It's like boomer music. Yeah, I said it, boomer music. And for those who have been following the podcast for a while, you know that I have been dancing and listening to this music for 34 years, from 1987. So you could make an educated guess about my age. calling Skrillex boomer music, I guess it's not fair. But I'm just trying to make an impression. I'm trying to shock you. Because to me, it sound is so fucking clean. I'm sorry about the expression. That is so unexciting as listening to the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. It's not edgy, man. And without his collaborations and, these guys, West Coast, you all know each other, you made the EDM scene your own, in effect, and, big up for you. Good for you. But, how can I say it? It's like him and his buddies, right? It's almost like a clique there, it's almost like an inner circle of dance music, and unless you're in there, you're nowhere. Stay with me. His sound to me was like pop dance at best, and drums are weak and reggae-like beats. I know, man, it's almost like a religious figure for you guys, so I know you probably will hate me, but I'm here not to suck dick. I told you that before. For those who are following this podcast, I'm not sucking dick of any artist, DJ, label, party, organizer, whatever. This podcast is independent and we're saying it like it is because we do not depend on them for money. They're not funding me. I have quite a hard job to keep myself going, so I don't care about them, and I don't care if I find Skrillex. This is my personal opinion. I'm not saying anything more than being objective. His sound is not exciting. And when I saw his new look as well with the beard, I laughed. I seriously laughed loud. LOL? I really did LOL. I really laughed out loud. I thought, what the fuck is this now, Skrillex? Come on. You're trying to show that you're mature. Well, yes, you're mature. And yes, you're the darling of the press. Right? He's on Rolling Stones. Yeah, he's selling albums. We know that. He's probably gonna be nominated for some Grammy. We know that. We can predict that. This is not what dance music is all about, man. Electronic dance music is about being underground and edgy and creative and moving on and creating new sounds all the time. So, for those who have been with the podcast for a while, you may remember June 2020, I released an episode and a blog called The Great Reset in Dance Music to conference with the Great Reset that was published back then about the world. And I said we need new heroes, we need new sounds, we need new labels, we need new fucking everything basically. I'm this sort of guy who has listened to so much dance music that after a while, you can more or less know how the song will go and nothing really sounds surprising. And dance music had become a little bit like rock and roll, so the sound is stagnant. You get great music as such, but the sound is stagnant. It didn't used to be like that. And this is what I want you to understand, like between 88, 89, 87, 88, 89, 1990, 91, 92, you had like 20 different styles that came and went. Literally every few months you get a whole new style of dance music. It was groundbreaking. It was, unless you lived through that era, you won't understand what I'm talking about. Some people who are listening may understand what I'm talking about, how revolutionary things were back then. So to have 2 years of domination of tech house just bores the fuck out of me, to be honest, because tech house was even things back in 1994, if you want to know. So just a repeat and rehash of that sound bores the fuck out of me. So I really was looking for new artists, and I guess I did not look hard enough to the underground, to the real underground. And let me come now into Phonk. What the fuck is Phonk? has been going for a while, it's not brand new, so for connoisseurs among you, please don't blast me. I know it's been going on for a while. I'm learning about it. And perhaps I'm talking about drift funk now. By the way, what you listen to the background, you listen to some big tunes from 2021. Some big funk tunes from 2021. I'm gonna mention some artists. We start with Live Another Day by Kordhell. You listen to Hensonn, Essential, Liquid, DVRST, Ghostface Playa, and we continue. So, looking for new heroes, looking for new sounds, we arrive at Phonk in 2023. And yes, it's not brand new, but I kind of just discovered it. I mean, in the last few months of 2022, when I really got bored of what was coming out, I thought, man, there must be something new. And I was getting all these glimpses of funk, but it never, you know how it never clicks. You keep looking at stuff, and because nobody covers it in widely, I guess, it never you never sit down and listen to it or see what the hell this is. And it has this weird iconography and weird artistic style, and it's mostly internet music because most of it's thriving on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. So I kind of one day I decided to let me just click on this, and I thought, whoa, what the hell is this? And this is what I'm looking for. Well, listen, I want to be excited and surprised. So Phonk is relatively new. It's kind of a fusion of hip-hop, trap, electronic music. It's been gaining a lot of popularity in recent years. It's kind of been described as a mix of boom bap, hip-hop, classic video game sounds, distorted 808s. And created in the early 2010s. Even though to be fair, it's directly inspired by 1990s Memphis rap, so we have to go back that way. And there is this sort of dichotomy. Right now, what people understand as funk is actually what's a subgenre of funk called drift funk. It's an internet subculture with a lot of influence by Russian artists about people drifting, car drifting basically, and listening to these sort of sounds. And SoundCloud comes in there. Then TikTok comes in there because a lot of it became viral on TikTok. Then Spotify comes in. The word Phonk was popularized by Space Ghost Perp, who released tracks such as Feel the Funk, Bringing the Funk, and Keep Bringing the Funk. But as time went on, by the end of 2017, Phonk had shifted away from the dark, gritty, Memphis-oriented sound, incorporating more modern vocals with classic hip-hop, and then kind of drifting onto the 4 and cowbell music. I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. It's not cowbell music, but lots of cowbells there. For anybody who is into music production, you must know what a Roland TR-808 is. I'm a proud owner of this, by the way. It's basically the archetype of Roland drum machines. It's a sequencer, and almost all of hip-hop is based, everything that you listen to on hip-hop really is based on that. The claps, the snares, the bass drum, and most importantly, the cowbells. So Phonk, or drift funk, hear the background, there's a lot of cowbells that are distorted there. And it's very peculiar because cowbell is one of those instruments that it really makes something very tacky, very kind of not cool. But what I hear, I think it's pretty cool, man. Spotify earlier, but I didn't finish, so I'm gonna finish now. So Spotify got kind of a hint of what was going on SoundCloud and created in 2021, I believe, a playlist called, one of the playlists called Phonk, the Drift, the sound of your drift, and it just went really popular. I never paid attention myself, so I'm very, very late in the game. But I think still this sound is kind of underground. I mean, if you look at any of the lists of the artists and DJs that are going to be playing these festivals in this year, there's no Phonk there at all, man. You know, it's the same old shite, man. Whoever you knew, Martin Garrix and the rest, they're there, okay? And the Skrillex, of course. I mean, Skrillex, last year you had Chainsmokers and the Swedish House Mafia. They're gone, man. They're heroes of another generation. There's this new generation coming in right now. The interesting thing about this sort of scene, I guess, is that there's no scene. There's no local scene like EDM, basically based around LA and the west coast of the US and Netherlands. This one is most like non-localized. It's very internet. I guess what happened during the pandemic and people been locked at home, they thought, fuck it, let's just create some internet music, and there you go. You have Phonk right now. So a lot of Russian influence there with the drift Phonk, I guess. Some prominent internet artists, like some of them that you're listening right now are, I said about PlayaPhonk, Present Future, Pharmacist, and Kaito Shoma. And man, don't try even to pronounce some of these names in the way they're written. You have to think that, you know, how they spell them and how you pronounce them. So I really like this sound. I really dig this sound, and I think, you know, I am late in this game, and if you guys are connoisseurs of this and you like this sound, please drop the come on Substack. Substack is a newsletter, and start some discussion there. You can listen to the podcast there. By the way, if Spotify finishes us because copyright issues or whatever, find us on Substack, right? This podcast will never finish, but it may change place where you listen to. And of course, I think the other platforms will be fine, so Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts will be fine, but Spotify has this thing, right? So anyway, I am late in the game, but I'm catching on, and I hope you like what you listen yourselves. And this podcast is going to cover a little of this right now. I mean, if you go to our curated monthly playlist, you can find it on Spotify. You will see that it's mostly Phonk right now. I mean, new releases. If you like this episode, I'm gonna release another episode with big tunes from 2022, where kind of the trap influenced and hip hop influenced Phonk got transformed into this 4/4 that you probably listen in the background with a lot of cowbell, so cowbell music, I guess. And the sound is very dark, it's very edgy, it's distorted, and the artwork is very, and the names of the songs, and very, very peculiar, very, very dark, I must say. But I like that. Compared to the clean sound of Skrillex, I want something, I really was looking for something underground, something different, something that was edgy, something that was growing organically rather than driven by corporations and the main music industry. And you can listen to Skrillex and you can read about him on Rolling Stone, man. Listening to Skrillex right now is as exciting as listening to the Beatles. Sorry bro, but that's how I feel right now. And you know that this podcast is not sucking D to anybody, either artists or labels, because we're independent motherfuckers, so you can't control us. So we're saying things like we feel, and we're always digging for new and exciting music and underground music. And right now, this is what I feel. This is where I feel the money is. And I'm looking forward to see where some parties that were just gonna play funk, if possible. I mean, yeah, they can mix it with trap and everything, but I'm really digging to see this sound being played out and see the reaction. How will people play it? Because it's mostly internet subculture, as I keep saying. It's SoundCloud, it's drifting videos on YouTube, it's TikTok viral videos. It's all happening out there, but we want to see what will happen in the club, man, down the club. So, I hope you dig this sound. Welcome to the Phonk. This is another episode, or was another episode of the Freak Material Podcast, and I was your host, Johnny Walker. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, share, like, and most importantly, come on Substack and subscribe to our newsletter, because it's free like anything else we do. We don't make a penny. So I'm gonna leave you with the last tune. If you enjoyed that, remember, get your freak on.